Hi y'all, it's Becky Roesler. I have Becky's Junk Journals on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram as Becky's Journals, and you can find me on Facebook at Rebecca Roesler. Today I'm working on another scrap busting project. I've been working all month making all kinds of stuff because my scraps are just piling up. After I finished the last two journals, they were mostly pink. So I had this huge pile of pink scraps that I've been dealing with. So I have made hidden paper clips. I have made clusters. Several other things. Oh, I did some projects with specimen cards and things like that. And all using the scraps. And so this is my last scrap busting project for now, because I used up all my embellishments that were pink in the last two journals. So I was low on journals, so low on pink embellishments, so I needed to make more pink. So I'm working with Masterboards, and all a Masterboard is a collage piece of paper. And here is one that I recently finished, and it's got lots of texture and fabric and lace and paper and you name it, just put on there. It was all that stuff left over on my desk from making the last two journals. So from this Masterboard, I can use it as a cover for a signature or even for a journal if I built it up thicker. I can cut it up and make corner pockets like from right there. I can make just regular pockets. I can make journaling cards. There's any number of things. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's the easiest way for me. That gives me the most options that I can have. So this is what they look like before I put any of the lace and fabric on them. See the difference? That one has lots of texture. This one doesn't. And the only difference is this one is what it looks like before I put anything textured on top of it. It's relatively flat and smooth. I could leave them like this, but for what I'm going to do is I'm going to make pockets and envelopes and journaling cards with these. But if I wanted to make a journal cover, I would leave it flat like that and then decorate it in a different way with texture to make a focal point on the front of the cover and such. So you can do it any way you want to do it. This is just a couple of them that I did. Basically all I did was glue down everything, and I'll show you how I get started. Now I'm using copy paper. My copy paper I have is pink. And I prefer a colored copy paper because I don't like plain white pages in my journals. And if I decide to use this as a cover, I'm going to want a back to it. So this is how it looks on the back. So if I wanted to make a page, or if I just wanted to make a journaling card, I already have a back to it. But you could use anything. You could use book pages, whatever you want. They're just not big enough for me. So I want to do a full-size sheet of paper. You could do it on 12 by 12 if you wanted to. Now I use copy paper instead of cardstock. The first journaling cards, the first Masterboards that I made it with cardstock, and they added too much bulk to my journal. And these, once you've glued all this stuff on here, it gets thicker than cardstock. So I'm doing what I can to lessen the bulk. So I started with a plain piece of paper. My color of choice was pink. And then I pick out from my big pile of scraps some of the larger pieces of paper that I've got in my scraps. And then I generally start in the corners. And I turn them, you know, I don't do anything special. I just start laying it out and gluing it down. And what I'm using is a glue stick. And the glue stick that I like best is Elmer's Extreme School Glue Stick. It really holds well, and it has that wide top that I like. It's an inch wide top, so I just glue this stuff down, and I start with the larger pieces, and basically to get it covered, and then I come back with the smaller pieces that I've got, piles of smaller pieces, and I glue down on top of it. So I'm going to do that for you, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, here we are with the totally glued down Masterboard, and you see right the edges there aren't perfectly lined up, and that's okay because we'll just trim it off once we're through with this. I've just overlapped things so nothing is just squares. You know, I've broken up where the papers join together. I've overlapped, and in this one I had some scrap tissue from some napkins, and I used tissue on top of an area that I wasn't real happy with, and I had some scraps here and here and here that are tissue, but you could use anything you want. I have some heart doilies, paper doilies that are too big to go in my journal, so I've been tearing up that heart doily and using it in pieces on it too. My next step is to add some Distress Oxide ink. This is Victorian Velvet, which is my current favorite, to make all these pages, different types of paper, look like they belong together. And I just go along the sharp edges and ink them in the joints areas, and so it's not as noticeable and it looks like it belongs together. And some of the pages take more and some take less, but this step really makes a difference, I found, especially when you have a light next to a dark. It makes it look like it's meant to be. It brings it all together. Okay, that's all that one really needs. And my next step after this is to do some stamping. Now, you could do words, you could do large flowers, you could do anything you want to. I chose this stamp. It's my current favorite, and I chose green Distress Oxide. It's Bundled Sage to go on top of it, because this page I want to be green and pink. And it's going to be very subtle because the pink's pretty dark on this one. But I will just go through and add a very subtle stamping, especially at the corners where the papers meet. And you'll be barely able to see this on camera, but whoops, things flying, Becky. But it's very subtly noticeable once you get it all together. Let's see. Okay. I think that's all it's needed. If you had lighter paper that you're working with, you might take more of the stamping. Okay, now you can leave it at this stage and use it. All I would do is just trim this edge off right here, you know, to even up, and then I would decide how I want to cut it, in what kind of elements I wanted to make out of it. On this one, you can go back and glue down, you know, little corners that stick up once the glue's dried. On this one, I think that a large or very large journaling card would look good right here. A big large journaling card, and one right here, a large journaling card would be good for that one. But you just go through and look at it and decide, you know, how you want to do it. And but my favorite thing is I've got all these little fabric scraps, and I just love texture. So what I will do is I will come in and add quite a bit of texture, especially where the papers overlap each other. I will come in and I will add this stuff, and to me it makes a huge difference. I'm choosing a peachy pink lace to go on this, but you know, it's just whatever you happen to have. I happen to have a lot of this peachy pink lace, so I'm cutting up. And also I'm using beige lace in different areas, but this is, I'm showing you how I will add to it. Here's some little pieces of ribbon that I've cut up. And I turn them all different which ways, and to add them in there. And I don't leave anything going just one, you know, I don't keep it all going one direction. I want to break it up some. Where does this one go? This one goes here. So you just keep adding, and it's going to go, some of the pieces are going to go over your stuff that you've previously laid down. Here's just some pieces of lace, and it just adds some texture to it. And when you're all done, it really makes a difference. Okay. See how that looks there, like that? And I may not glue things, but I just start gluing it. I don't have any particular order when I'm working on it, but I wanted to show you this way. Okay, then I'll glue all that down and call her done. Thanks for watching. I'm going to cut some of these up and make some elements on it, and I'll be right back and show you what the finished product looks like. I'm back. We have all completed as far as I'm going to complete them until I get ready to use them in my journal. I've cut up all the ones that I've had started already. I've got corner pockets or corner tucks. I've got all different sizes that can be used as pockets or journaling cards or tags here. And that's how I usually cut them up. This is to show you what an 11 by 14 sheet of paper was used. I cut a square out of the top left and then cut the square in half to make 2 large triangle pockets. I've got 3 pieces at the bottom that can be used as small pockets or, oh no, do I have glue? I do. Get off there. You cannot stay. All right. These can be used as a little corner tuck, and I would finish adding embellishments to it, or little minor pockets. And belly bands out of this 2 narrow strips. Here's a large journaling card that I've gone ahead and glued some lace to the top of it and stamped some on the back, and so it's pretty much done. Depending on how I want to use it in my, I may put a focal point in the center, such as a fabric flower or something. On these large corner tucks, they can be used at any orientation, at the top, on the side, on the left top. And so I haven't put any additional lace along the edge, but when I get ready to use them, I'll run some little lace along the edge there, depending on what orientation I want to use. I thought that turned out nice. I'm going to have to make myself another pink journal. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Oh, I have, for the person who asked me to just give directions and not talk so much, here, I'm sorry, here's the directions. For Masterboards, I use colored copy paper base. I glue large to small pieces down. I vary the size, shape, and orientation on the page. Once I've got it all covered, I ink all the hard lines or edges. Then I add the texture with lace and fabric. And then if there's any edges along the outside edges that didn't quite meet up, I trim those down. Then I cut it into usable shapes. So I've got corner pockets, tags, belly bands, tuck spots, and regular pockets. And once I cut it into shapes, I round the corners and ink the edges. Y'all come see me, Becky's Junk Journals on YouTube. Bye-bye.